guys think you want to become an advanced open water diver? Listen up. Well, we got our 5 top tips for being prepared for advanced open water today. Josh and I are going to get a quick dive in. Cue the music.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Everything Scuba. I'm Lyell.
And I'm Josh. Lyell and I are scuba instructors and avid divers here in the Midwest.
We're very avid, we're very passionate. We want to make you just as passionate about scuba diving. If you're a diver, you want to be a better diver, you don't know how to dive and want to learn, this is the channel to come visit. So hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming shows.
So hey Lyell, I recognize the logo on your shirt. Tell us about that.
Oh, this is one of my favorite places to go dive. This is a Sweet Bottom Dive Center down on the beautiful island of St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I want to say a shout out to Mark and Laura Lindsay down there and their staff. They do a phenomenal job. Located in Cane Bay.
Beautiful.
You gotta go dive the wall. It's a classic dive. The Puerto Rican Trench is about 3,000 feet deep there. We don't want to see the bottom of it. We'll explore the top 100 feet or so. But a great place to go dive.
Yeah,
and I think I recognize this one too.
Yeah, this is a pretty sweet shirt from Key Dives down in Islamorada. North Iowa Scuba takes a trip generally every fall. Take quite a few divers down. Mike and the crew, awesome. Hey to Captain Kinney for comic relief. But this one was especially sweet because last November, when my wife and I were there, we got to see a hammerhead, and this shirt has a hammerhead on it. So it's always cool to see any shark, but a hammerhead is especially cool.
So if we talk about places that we enjoy diving, we'll drop some links down below to those dive centers so you can track them down. So today we are going to give you our top 5 tips for open water divers who want to become advanced open water divers. And there's a few things that we have some opinions on in regards to that PADI course that we're going to share with you. Josh, tell me about this advanced open water course.
So the advanced open water course is for divers who are already certified as open water divers and they want to advance their diving knowledge.
Gotcha. So you're saying that I could go right into an advanced open water class after finishing my open water, and I've got 9 dives total. So with that card, that means that I am certified as an advanced diver, right?
Well, in that case, you would be certified, but I would hesitate to say qualified. That certification is not qualification.
Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that while we wait. So, what are some of the requirements that we have? First off, you have to be an open water diver, and you got to be at least 12 years old. So we consider that a junior open water diver. You could be 10 years old when you can qualify as an open water diver, but you can't take the course till you're 12. And we also have some limitations as instructors in terms of depth and the things we can do with people that age. What next?
Let's see. So as part of this, you're going to have to complete 5 adventure dives. Okay. And there's a nice big gamut of options for that. 2 of those have to be the deep dive and the underwater navigation dive.
How deep is deep?
In this case, we're talking about, we're certified in open water up to 60 feet, and now we're looking really in the plus 60 feet range, but really in that 60 to 100 foot range. Okay. You're going to see some more color change and loss of light.
Gas management, those kinds of things.
So we're going to talk about things like that.
So do I have to be advanced to take this class?
You don't have to be, but we do have some ideas on what would make it best.
Okay. So let's start with our top tips right here. So tip number 1 is gain experience after you complete your open water class. Dive, dive, and dive some more. Join a dive club. Get a dive buddy. Go on a dive trip and just gain experience.
Yeah, that's really the biggest thing. I'm always sad when I hear someone say they're an advanced open water diver and you ask where they've been. Well, I've been in the pool and in the quarry.
Right.
Well, I guess that card shows you are, but...
Well, and even here in the Midwest, maybe our diving choices are a little bit limited, but there's certainly places that we can still go dive. I mean, Big Blue here in town, we consider it the Caribbean of North Iowa, but it's still worthy of diving. I'd say it's a nice place for beginners. It's not super deep. It can be a little chilly at times, but that's just what we have to deal with. Another thing to think about is dive trips with dive shops that put on a trip. We recently went to Costa Rica with North Iowa Scuba. We took 20 divers with us, and those are a range of divers. We had 4 instructors, 3 dive masters. We also had some divers there who'd never been in saltwater before.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And so if you're a new diver going on a trip like that with a bunch of other guys, we always look out for each other. You can be a little bit more comfortable knowing that you're with a group maybe that you trained with, and you know that they're going to keep their eyes on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, most divers are generally pretty decent people in general. I mean, nobody wants to see someone get hurt.
Right.
Everybody wants more people to enjoy this sport.
Yeah. So dive a lot, dive as much as you can. We're not guys that are going to tell you need to have 20, 30, 50 dives before you can take an advanced open water class. Every diver is a little different in terms of their comfort level and their skill, but getting some experience under your belt before you take that advanced open water class, we definitely recommend.
Tip number 2, work on perfecting your open water skills. So you learned a lot of skills in the open water course, things like mask removal, regulator recovery, gear setup, trim, weighting, things like that. Buoyancy. Buoyancy is the main one, really. But when you go to add more skills, you don't want to be overloaded if you're still trying to fumble around with your buoyancy or with just dealing with being underwater. That's why the experience, when you go on these dive trips or you go and dive someplace, do some skill practice. There's nothing wrong with extra practice. We still do practice, and we're instructors. Yeah. And we would recommend everybody practice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of if I see people struggle, and buoyancy is something that some people really have to work on. And if you're taking an advanced class and we're putting you in a situation where we're asking you to concentrate on multiple things at the same time, and you're having to scull and kick, particularly during like a photography class, or it doesn't work well for you. So mastering those open water skills is key. Tip number 3, dive in different environments. Now, depending on where you live in the country, that might be a little tricky. We're kind of lucky maybe here in the Midwest. Some people might not view us as lucky. Yeah. We get to dive in green pea soup quite a bit. That's kind of cold at times. But we also take a lot of trips to warm saltwater areas. But the things that we get to then do are, here we'll dry suit dive when it's colder. Maybe I wear a 7mm. Josh and I completed a dive this morning. We did some maintenance on our local dive site, and I was in a 7mm. Josh had his dry suit on. But if we go to the Caribbean, maybe I got a 1mm, 3mm, no mill as we're diving. So we learn different weighting, different gear. Everything is different.
Yeah, it really is good. Different gear setups. I use different stuff here with the dry suit than I do when we go on trips. And yeah, why buy a bunch of equipment that you think you want? Learn from us and learn from other divers. Try different gear, try different equipment in different situations before you spend all your hard-earned money. And
generally your instructor or the shop that you're working with, they may have a different BCD that you could try out. They'll let you maybe rent a dry suit or a wetsuit from them, so that test equipment out, get to see what you like and what you don't like. And so diving in different environments allows you to do that.
Tip number 4, your adventure dives count as the first dive in your specialty certifications. So for the deep certification, which is a 4-dive certification, the first dive you're going to do if you do the PADI Advanced Open Water course. That also works the other way. If you, say, Lyell had a student last year who already had DPV certification, I believe photography certification, maybe underwater navigation certification, those specialty certifications count towards the Advanced Open Water. And then even if you had 5 certifications, including deep and underwater nav, you still will have to complete the Advanced Open Water coursework, but the dives could be done. And again, it works both ways, so it's a nice way.
She came to me, she had three specialty certifications already. She was dry suit certified, DPV, and also full face mask certified. She wanted to take the Advanced Open Water class. So really the only 2 adventure dives that we had to do were the deep and the underwater navigation. She still had to take the online e-learning course that PADI offers for Advanced Open Water and take that final exam. But if you've got some specialties under your belt already, then usually that instructor is going to help work with you to do that. You need to complete those all within the same year though. That's key. So remember that those will help you in other ways. Tip number 5, find an instructor who will plan your adventure dives with you.
That's the key, not for you.
Yeah. So what we as instructors try to do is we want to get with our students and talk to them about, okay, what are you interested in? What are the areas that you would like to take care of? Obviously, we have to do a deep, we have to do an underwater navigational dive, but if a student has an interest in, say, dry suit diving, we can do that. Josh can certainly work with them on certain things. There's maybe some areas that he may prefer I work with students on. I love underwater photography and videography. He may not be as comfortable with that. Search and recovery, Josh is the master. And so you don't have to do all of your classes with the same instructor because we all have our strengths and weaknesses there. But the key is to work with a scuba shop and an instructor that will work with you so that you get out of the class what you want to get out of the class.
Yeah, that really is important. There are some things, and not every shop, if you go to St. Croix, depending on which shop you go to and say, I want to do Advanced Open Water, I want to do side mount, search and recovery, and dry suit. They may say, whoa, we don't offer side mount stuff unless you have all your own gear. We don't offer dry suit unless you have your own gear. So that wouldn't make sense there. Now, a lot of places where we are in the Midwest, shops don't have rental DPVs. They maybe don't rent photography or videography equipment. So there are some limitations, but that's why it's so nice to work with a shop with multiple instructors who have different, like Lyell said, different interests, different specialties, and different gear.
Yeah, you need to have an instructor that's interested in what you want. So I hate to do this to you, Josh, but bonus tip.
No bonus. We said 5 tips.
We can squeak this one. This one's easy. Never stop learning. So we know divers who never took an Advanced Open Water class, have hundreds of dives under their belt, and I'd consider them advanced divers. I learn from them all the time. So having a certification card doesn't always mean that you're an advanced diver. What's the term again?
That was, I believe somebody said this morning, certification does not equal qualification.
Right.
And so that is, like Lyell mentioned earlier, you could have 9 dives and have that brand new card that says you are an advanced open water diver. But I would much rather dive with someone who has 1,000 dives in quarry water and horrible visibility that is only an open water diver, or maybe has a YMCA certification from the 60s.
Right.
It's all about knowledge.
Now, we might seem like we're horrible salesmen here, because I know PADI gets a little bit of a rap for selling courses, and that's not what we're about. We're about creating great divers, and if you enjoy it, absolutely, we'd love to work with you and make those things happen. But it's all about safety. It's all about making sure that you are a qualified advanced diver. And so that's our top 6 tips for this show. So if we have some advanced open water divers out there watching this right now, tell us in the comments below, what tips would you give to open water divers on being prepared to take that class, and what are some of the adventure dives or specialties that you enjoyed having? So until next time, I'm Lyle.
I'm Josh.
Hit subscribe, click the notification, don't miss out on our upcoming shows. We'll see you next time on Everything Scuba.
Safe diving.